Hey everyone, you're listening to Party Time, My Golf Story with Kevin Walsh and whatever special guest he has today. You can check me out on episode 9 of the podcast. Today I'm wearing Grayson clothes while I'm out practicing because I believe in look good, play good. And follow me on Instagram, Sophia Warren Golf, and hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers. And the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Vizzacaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the program. Noah Zelnik is back. 3-time guest on Party Time, My Golf Story. Why? Because he's overdue. And because anytime we have Noah to tell his stories in only a way that he can, got to have him on board. A lot going on in his life. Got some changes going on at Moccasin Wallow. He is the owner and operator there of a great golf course in Palmetto, Florida. We're going to talk about irrigation. We're going to talk about the weather. For some, it's been a rough summer. Noah's always been very honest about the challenges of operating a golf course. But similar to what we did with the superintendent at Lakewood National Golf Club a couple episodes back, Joel Earhart, where we did Agronomy 101. What's really going on with aeration, with tines in the green, with verticutting of greens? Like, how does the magic all come together, and what are the challenges day in and day out? Noah's going to talk about that. Also has some stories about Bethpage Black. We are recording this on Thursday, September 18th. Next week, and the week that this is going to air, is going to be Ryder Cup week. So in some ways, we're a little bit dated, but Noah's stories are evergreen. They stand the test of time. Had the course record at Bethpage Black, by the way. And we're going to get into that and who was on his bag, who he's caddied for. Familiar name, Michael Bradley, another guest on Party Time, My Golf Story. And Michael is actually caddied for Noah because Noah has been a professional golfer. He's won many times. He's played on multiple tours, and he is just a storyteller among storytellers. Big thanks to our title sponsor, Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course and you're sick of crappy seltzers and beer makes you fat and you can't make a good backswing, try a Party. For golfers, by golfers, made with only the best of vodka. And oh, by the way, we have a new flavor just about to be released, Birdie Juice. If the can looks familiar, it's a combination of our Transfusion, our number one seller, and Mulligan lemonade and vodka, getting ahead of the revenue loss that happens at a lot of golf courses. When people bring their personal flask, make a birdie, take a couple sips off that, have the Birdie Juice beforehand, purchase it, and then maybe it leads to more birdies. How about that for a thought? If your dream is to live on a golf course or in a golf resort community like Lakewood National Golf Club, where this podcast originates from, nobody better than the real estate pros at suncoastdreams.com. Vince Vizzacaro, Gene Walsh, and Samantha Walsh. It is a great time to buy. It is the end of the quarter. Some new home builders are trying to move product, and there are plenty of homes for sale. It is a buyer's market. Get on it. Start that retirement early. And if all that golf has got you tuckered out and you need some spa treatments, you need some red light therapy, cold water plunge, hot tub, sauna, or whatever, nobody better than the BioLit Spa in downtown Sarasota to get you all recouped and recovered. All right, so let's get our man on board. Noah, hey, man, good to see you. It's been a while. I'll talk to you anytime because you just have stories to tell. You just have a wealth of knowledge about the industry and everything. So, well, first of all, did you get a haircut before the interview like you did last time?
I mean, I did within the last 48 hours, but I mean, it's not freshly groomed. It's got a couple days of growth in there.
Well, hold on. I mean, we didn't set a date for the podcast until about maybe 10 hours ago, but you knew I was looking for you. Did that have something?
Well, I'll be honest with you, and I hadn't shared this yet, but I did have a medical procedure a couple weeks ago. I was in the hospital, had very high blood sugar. I had 3 stents put in my heart. So I'm really on the mend and just kicking back and relaxing and just getting back in the swing of things.
Holy smokes. I didn't know that. So
yeah, I
how are you doing?
That one earlier. I'm doing good. So I got a hat trick on the show now for being my 3rd time. Now I got 3 stents. I did, as Michael could tell you, about 15 years ago at the Bob Hope Chrysler Classic. I had problems out there, and that's where I originally had my stents put in. So it's been a rough ride health-wise, but we're doing our best to get back to it.
Well, you look good, and you always bring the spark to the podcast, and I appreciate that. Michael says hello. So I want to get into the caddying part, you caddying for him and him caddying for you, but I thought a good jumping in point, because this was the original thing, and then as we talked before we actually started recording, your history at Bethpage Black. Why don't we start there? You held the course record for a while?
For about 5 hours, 6 hours. So, and it was not the official course record, but it was the course record of the redo. So they went in 1998 with Reese Jones and Bernadette Castro, who was the head of Castro Convertibles, and she was the head of New York State Parks Department. When they originally decided to have the U.S. Open there, they went and did an entire redo of the property. It was the Met Open, so it was the second time we'd played it in about a month and a half. The Met Open has winners like Walter Hagen and Gene Sarazen, and probably one of the oldest. It was one of the original PGA Tour events back in the day. They weren't really PGA Tour back then. It was just the Western Open, the Met Open, U.S. Open. Those were the majors in the United States. So that was a fun time, and they actually hosted it. That was the last event they were going to play before the U.S. Open. So it was in August 2001, and I started off slow. I hit a driver and a 5-iron on number 10, and then 3-putted from about 25 feet, knocked it 6 feet by and lipped out, and then parred 11, 12, 13, 14, 13, got on 14, hit it in the right, very steep bunker. Took me 2 to get out, 2-putted. So I was 3 over through 5 holes, 5 over for the tournament. I'm like, man, what's the cut going to be? And I kind of went on a little tear. I birdied 15, 17, 18, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm on the 7th hole, and it's a converted par 5 to a par 4 that we played from the ladies' tee, 495 yards, but it's 275 to hit it through the fairway. Well, as luck had, I can't hit it over trees. It's basically a dog-leg right. So the only person who could really draw it around the corner is Phil Mickelson at that time, because he needed to be a lefty. Otherwise, I didn't hit it high enough. I drove it down the right side, the tree line, but it still scooted through and through the fairway. Guy in a bucket hat, long khaki pants and a white shirt goes, "So what do you think? How you playing?" And I say, "This is the stupidest freaking golf hole I'd ever seen. This is dumb." But I just keep going. Well, the St. John's golf coach, who was Keegan Bradley's coach, is Frank Darby. He's the tournament director for the Met PGA, but he happened to be out there riding around because him and Craig Courier were great friends, and Craig Courier was a superintendent at Bethpage at the time. So I end up making about a 45-footer on number 8 for birdie. So now I've birdied 2, 3, 4, and 8 on that side. 7, even though I hit it through the fairway, I got it up and down from 60 yards for a 4. So however we want to look at it, I made 4, but it was a par. So now I'm 4 under, going onto the 9th tee, hit it down the right side, but there's a big hill, and you'll see it in the Ryder Cup. If you don't get it up top, it goes back down, and right in the little collection area is 168 sprinkler. I hit 6-iron, blind shot, about 12 feet. All of a sudden, Darby's behind the green, and he signals to my dad, has Noah playing, and my dad was on the bag caddying for me. And then all of a sudden, guy comes over and says, "Whoa, what's this putt for?" And Frank goes, "Just 12-footers for 65. He says, "Well, that's funny, because this guy just told me this was the stupidest freaking golf hole he'd ever seen designed 2 holes ago." It was Reese Jones. It was Reese Jones, the designer of the course. I said that too.
Oh, that's so funny. So you got it in at 66.
It lasted 66.
Lasted then for a couple.
Rick Hartman, who's one of the best club pros up there, played the European Tour, had just passed away. Last week, he passed away from cancer, which was sad. But the tournament was won by an amateur who also shot 60, because Hartman shot 65. He made like a 15, 20 footer on the last hole for 65. So the USGA, they were pretty pissed because they didn't want anyone, especially club pros or a state open. We're not supposed to shoot those kind of scores on that golf course, not for a US Open.
Well, that's their problem.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Johnson Wagner was in the group in front of us. He shoots 66 the final day, and he wins the golf tournament. Now he's an NBC commentator. So he was...
what do you make of his mustache?
I think he started it on the Corn Ferry Tour about 15 years ago. They used to have a thing called Movember for the mustache November on the tour. Everyone used to grow him out. It's his gig. He can look however he wants. I mean, I think it's. I'd rather stare at Johnson's mustache than Brandel Chambly and listen to him.
Oh boy, but it is thick. It seems like I think there's a little too much just for men in it. It's large. Maybe trim it a little bit, but back it up. So you started off. It was kind of crappy. You were 3 over after a couple holes. What turned it around? Did you say fuck it, and then things started happening, or were you just like, hey, it's going to be all right? Take me inside your mind.
I was afraid I was going to miss the cut, and then one thing led to another. I just started hitting some good golf shots. I mean, I was pretty dialed in. I was a good iron player. I hit every fairway coming in. The only one, I think I told you earlier in the day, the only fairway, I hit 13 out of 14 fairways. And the only reason I missed that fairway was because I hit it through the fairway on that 7th hole. So I was... when I was good, I felt like I was pretty good, and I can just pick stripes to hit it at. And that day, I just happened to hit every stripe, pretty perfect. And the irons felt good, so it was a lot of fun. I think that's why Michael said, when you're on, you're on. And, that's why we used to play a lot of team events together, and we used to win quite a few of them locally around the area.
You mentioned your dad briefly. I want to dig a little bit deeper. What did it mean to you to have your dad on the bag, and how involved was he in your golf?
Financially, he was 100% involved. I mean, without him, I would have never been able to pursue a career. He believed in my dreams, and my dad had played 5 sports in college, so he kind of knew what it took to go to the next level. He played for 2 Hall of Fame coaches in college. He played for Benny Friedman, and he played for Bud Collins, the writer from the Globe, was his tennis coach at Brandeis. So you kind of learned at a young age, just, the competitive spirit in my family. Between my brothers, myself, and my dad, we played 9 different sports in college.
But your dad really didn't know much about golf. I mean,
knew nothing about golf.
Okay. And so he's on the bag. How does that work?
Well, it really works because, in golf, a good caddy knows when to stay out of the way when a player is playing well. I also taught my dad at a very early age the 3 ups: show up, keep up, and shut up. And my dad was great at that. He knew when not to say anything. And, the only time he'd get mad if I slammed the club or something, because I'm no angel, and I had a little bit of a temper. I mean, growing up in the tennis years of watching John McEnroe, you'd break some rackets. So I had a club throwing episode. He wasn't happy, and fortunately I got out of it when he started making me pay for the clubs that I broke.
It's getting a lot more expensive. I think the last club I threw and broke, it was returned to me by my father. I thought he was going to wrap it around my neck for one. I was so embarrassed. But it's $45 a shaft, all right, and that doesn't include the grip.
Ridiculous.
Right.
It used to be $75 for a full set of irons. Back in the day, you can get true tempers for $5.99 from Golf Works. You'd get 8 of them, and then you'd give a guy $5 a piece to install them. Next thing you know, it's $50 a club right now, and they want to frequency match them and everything. I mean, next thing you know, you're at $1,000 just to build a set with shafts, and that's if you already have the heads. Grips are $12 to $15 a piece. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Right, and you kind of feel like an ass based on the money loss and the loss of composure. But when it was all said and done, did you play, aside from winning, and you did your good share of winning, how important was it to you to make your dad proud?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I'll never forget one of the first tournaments I won was on the North Atlantic Tour. It was 1994, Westover Air Force Base in Springfield, Massachusetts, or Ludlow, Mass, just outside. And it was a North Atlantic Tour championship. And there was a legend there. I mean, his name was Jeff Lewis. I mean, Jeff Lewis was one of only 3 guys to lead on the PGA Tour, the event after the first round, and missed the cut. But Jeff Lewis, when I say a legend, I mean, this guy made $1 million on mini tours when $2,000 to $3,000 was what the winner would get per week. I mean, so if you're from Massachusetts, you've heard the name Jeff Lewis because he was a legend. So it was me and him coming down the stretch, and I end up winning the golf tournament. And I called my dad. I mean, back then there were no cell phones. I'm calling collect, hanging up, and then he'd call me back just because he knew where I was, just to save some money. But I mean, it was and the excitement out of him, the excitement out of me. I mean, that was a moment I'll never forget. Was calling him from the clubhouse on the payphone back in the day.
Let's get into that. Was it emotional?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the first win, I mean, at that stage was awesome. Multi-day event, battling guys. I mean, that was, I had just turned professional. So that was kind of a big deal in 1995. And it got me in there. They had a pamphlet out on North Atlantic Tour, and they said tour champion and had my name in there the next year. So, I mean, it got better as the year went on when I saw like all the brochures. They didn't have websites back then. So when they put something in print, it started back in Little League. I mean, when I was 8 years old, and the first time I got 3 hits in a Little League game, and they put it in the local newspaper in the Bronx, you're like, oh, Noah Zelnick went 3 for 3 today. I always wanted to see my name in the newspaper or in print.
Oh, yes, because it's looking back at you, and you can marinate in it, and people read the newspaper, and you could keep it forever.
But so the Riverdale Press came out on Thursdays. It came out on Thursdays. I mean, and I'm going to the newspaper stands on Wednesday night at 9:00 to see if they had stuffed the paper. I mean, back then you're putting a quarter in and you just can't wait to get out. And about 3 or 4 times I had good games. I put the quarter in and it's still last week's news, and I was upset.
Hey, back to making the phone call, calling collect your dad, calling you back and everything. But just like the emotion, I mean, you're feeling great about the win, but like just speaking, hey, Dad, I won. Was it hard to say?
No. It was easy. And I mean, he screamed, he yelled, and his business partner, who was my godfather, was also there in the office. They were both architects and developers in New York City. And you'd think that I hit one at a Yankee Stadium that day. Like, it was the greatest thing for, kids from the Bronx don't win golf tournaments. That just doesn't happen unless they're playing from kids that are only from the Bronx. So that was a pretty cool moment in time that I'll never forget.
Yeah, well, talk about growing up in the Bronx. Your golf experience was a little bit different. You couldn't quite play 18 holes at the place that you normally played. Why was that?
Well, so the history of it is I used to live, it's on the other side. It's hard to say. I mean, so in Riverdale, it's also in the Bronx. So I lived in Riverdale. Then you had the train station, the end of the subway line was the number one. And then you'd walk a quarter, which would be the Van Cortlandt Park exit. Well, Van Cortlandt Park is America's oldest public golf course, established in 1895. So, there were junior rates, $5, and you'd go and play at 2:00 in the afternoon for $5 and carry my own bag. But unless I had an adult with me, so you had 14-hole routing, and then the Major Deegan Expressway, which is 87, where if you basically took it 3 miles south, that would take you to Yankee Stadium, was right there. So Yankee Stadium was on 161st Street in Jerome, and this was up on 242nd Street and basically Broadway. So, I mean, that was, 3-4 mile ride by car, less than 5 minutes. So that split the golf course, not in half, but you had most of it running up the highway, and then the last 4 holes were up on top of a hill. Well, it was kind of a little low-income housing, or as everyone calls it, the projects in New York City. you didn't go up there if you didn't have a cart, and you didn't go up there if you were alone, because anything could happen as the sun is going down there.
Right.
So that was so I really grew up playing 14 holes. Shot a lot of 57s and 58s in that 14 holes. That's why I didn't understand the whole 59 number. It was huge. I'm like, man, I got that regularly.
Right. Well, hey, safety first. Back to Bethpage. You told me, this surprised me, but I didn't know. I didn't grow up in New York. You think one of the other courses there is better than the black course that the rest of the world knows about?
I am way more a fan of the red course at Bethpage than the black course. It's just, they touted the black. They did the renovations. They've done everything to it. Now, they've also put $20 million in the rest of the properties. The greens on the black are very flat, so speed really doesn't matter. You can't get on the wrong side of the hole too often. They're only on 15, and they should have rebuilt that green, but because I think it's a terrible green for a 490-yard par 4. But mostly, there's not a lot of undulation in them. The red has way better green complexes, and it's just a lot more fun golf course to play. And it's also it's a 7,500-yard par 70 golf course, so it's nothing. I hope one day they'll play the U.S. Amateur on the red and the black and have the match play on the red to give that golf course the accolades. Now, what we've got there is really 99 holes, all by Tillinghast, the same designer.
No, so it's good. I mean, this is like arguing about a Ferrari and a Porsche, which is better. But
Correct.
It's Correct. A preference thing. But you slept in the car. You've been there at 3:30 in the morning.
I didn't sleep in the car. I napped. I stayed in my own bed. At 3:00. And my friend Sean at the time, we drove out there and got online. We're napping in the car, and then they come out and give you the ticket. And that's how they would do it. I tell you, another guy that I knew used to do that, Arjun Atwal, who I caddied for on tour, spent his high school years in Old Westbury, only 4 exits down. Well, he went to Nassau Community College, and his whole team, they would go out there, hang out, sit there, get their tickets, and then go home and sleep for 5 or 6 hours, and then go back and play. Great player. That's where he learned how to basically play golf, not in India, but at Bethpage Black. Because that's where 2 colleges made their home golf course there. Nassau Community College and St. John's University.
Of course. That's why the place is so special to Keegan Bradley. So let's talk about owning a golf course. I know you just installed like an irrigation project and everything. Sounds great, but there's probably a lot more to it than the average person knows. What's your take on it all?
Well, it was definitely a major undertaking. I think we installed 540 new heads, ran all new electric wires. So now it's called a 2-wire system, but there's 3 wire paths that you put in throughout the golf course. We had originally a hydraulic system. So hydraulic systems, if the tubing doesn't last too long, if a tubing gets cut, next thing you know, 4 to 6 heads come on. There's a lot of silent leaks. Heads won't run the proper way. So, after 40 years, you're kind of at the end of your life, and your irrigation is your lifeline. It is your heart of the golf course. Without water, you don't have a chance.
Right.
And we can actually see right now, I was talking to a buddy earlier today. The Century Championship is now canceled on the PGA Tour because they don't have water and irrigation for the golf course. They haven't watered it in 60 days, so they've just completely canceled the golf tournament now.
Okay. All right. So expensive for you. There's a lot involved in it, but ultimately for your customers, the players, better playing conditions. But it's been a tough summer. Like as much as we need the summer rain and sometimes hard, some places can handle it better than others. What were your challenges throughout the summer?
So our challenge was what was supposed to be originally 3 to 4 weeks was a 12-week project. Now, I'm not going to get into the details. It just was understaffed and not done correctly and properly. So when you get into, we started the day after Easter thinking, okay, 3 to 4 weeks, May 15th, I'll have irrigation. That's the dry season. Well, in May, we got no rain since the day they started. So we lost a lot of turf originally. And, my superintendent was like, we're basically doing the job in a hairdryer in Florida. It's just hot, windy, and no rain whatsoever. So that's definitely a struggle, puts a lot of stress on every employee, the contractor, you name it. It's not a fun situation to be around. There's a lot of screaming, yelling, you name it. But at the end of the day, you just hope that the juice is worth the squeeze. And we finally finished it around June 28th.
Excellent. Now, tell me this. I've always wondered, I like to know the story behind the story, peel the curtain back, tell me what life is really like. Joel Earhart, the superintendent here at Lakewood National, did a great job of that and making me interested in what's involved in growing grass, maintaining it, and all this. And it seems like it's got to be a labor of love. Now, I know some people that they think purchasing a golf course may be a dream. They love golf so much, and their love for the game will override any of the challenges they've had. I've also heard people who love to cook say, I'd love to own a restaurant. But where the rubber meets the road and actually comes to running a business, it's a lot harder than you thought. Has that been the case for you?
Absolutely. I mean, I joke and I say that owning a golf course is a lot like buying a boat. The two happiest days of your boat are the day you buy it and the day you sell it. And that's honestly the truth. The boat, the acronym is break out another 1,000. So every time something breaks, it's a lot of money to fix.
Right.
But you hope you bought the golf course right. And you hope we took a gamble. I mean, to me, it's a real estate transaction. I bought the golf course with an exit strategy. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, you never want to exercise the strategy because you want the original business to work. So we do have 24 acres of land that we're hoping that we're going to go to the county commissioners and see if we can develop 12 acres. Because we'd like to do a mini, not a Lakewood National, but we'd like to do 70 townhomes or condos and force everyone to be a member of the course. That will be in your HOA dues, where you'll be a member of the golf course, 70 of them. You'll get your own golf cart with the purchase of a house. Like I told everyone when we bought the place, I am third generation. My brother's the architect. We're third generation architects and developers. So you kind of buy a golf course with an exit strategy or multi-uses for it. I'd love to keep it a golf course. I would love to have 70 members guaranteed so that way we can give a great playing facility. And that's part of the reason we redid the irrigation, because we want to take the golf course to the next level.
Got it. Caddying. You've been on both sides of it. You've had people caddy for you. You've caddied for them. Michael Bradley, who's just a phenomenal. You've spent more time caddying for him, but he's caddied for you. You tell me, what do you think makes a good caddy? Or just stop for a sec. As a player, what did you want from your caddy?
I just wanted the proper numbers. I wanted them to believe in me. Basically, a job of a caddy is to make the player feel like he's great and maybe even make him believe that he's better than he is, if that makes any sense. I want every player to believe he can pull off every shot that we're having him play. But you also have to be able to play within your limits. And I think that's the most important. What your physical limitations may be, what you can do, and make the best of it from there.
So the conversations that you would have had on Michael's bag are certainly a lot different than the conversations you had with an average Joe.
Yes, I never said to Michael, boy, I hope you get this airborne. That would be hard.
I don't think he had any problem with that.
No.
He was such a good player. But can you maybe share a story where a conversation led to a good shot, or maybe it didn't turn out so well, but there was a conversation
with me as a player, or me as a caddy?
With you as a caddy on Michael's back.
With me as a caddy. Okay.
And then if you have the reverse of that, I want to know that too.
I'm not sure if Michael would remember it, because I think he blacked out the first time we won Puerto Rico. But we were on the 14th hole, and we've got, I'm going to call it 212 yards, but we've got about 200 to carry this bunker, and plenty of room behind it. And Michael goes, "What do you think?" And I look at him and go, "What do you think?" He says, "Tell me what to do. I don't want to think." So I just said to him, "All right, 212 hole, 200 front, cover the bunker. 232 to the back, wind's blowing about 30. I said, you can put the 3-iron in the back of your stance and hit it as hard as you want. You're not going to hit it over the green." So we tried to take the short out of play, and he hit it about 15 feet behind the hole. And he looked at me and just says, "Great call."
Nice. That's good. Has there ever been a time where a caddy gave you the right call or maybe the wrong call? Just a memory that sticks in your head.
Yeah, I mean, there was one time that I was about 160 yards or something, and it was downwind, and the guy said to me, "Oh, you can get 9-iron there all day long." I mean, and I hit 9-iron, and I'm posing, and, it came up 50 feet short. I'm like, that's not the right call. I mean, I started yelling. I was like, what in the world do you think that I can hit a 9-iron 160 yards even downwind? So that's kind of one of those things. I mean, you have to, the player makes the final decision, but I'd rather a caddy tell me what they think it's playing versus what club I should hit. And I think the number is more important. It's like with Michael, we spent countless hours out on the driving range with distance control. I will tell you a crazy thing that we did one time, which I'm not proud of, but we used to catch each other's drives with like a baseball glove. But then Michael loved to hit this thing. He called it the Oklahoma Stinger. So I'm about 100 yards away from him with a catcher's glove, and he's just rifling 2-irons as hard as he could at me. And let me tell you, I'm glad I caught every one of them, or they just zoomed by me, because if I ever got hit by it, I was down for the count. I wasn't getting up. But he had so much fun hitting 2-irons at me.
Oh,
it was awesome.
A low stinging or at the range picker. I mean, come on, who hasn't done that? I mean, it's so much fun.
But a low stinging 2-iron at someone with a catcher's glove, a baseball glove, pretty much the dumbest thing I think I did, but it was awesome for the reflexes. That's when I knew I still had it, though.
Yeah, you still had it for sure. So you talked about like distance control and everything, and I had a talk with one of my caddy buddies, Steve Schaefer, and we were talking about players, like average players, being in between clubs. And you said something to me that was profound. Like, I'm a big proponent of hitting more club and just choking up on it and swinging about 3/4 to hit the proper number. So instead of a stock 130, 140, if you're 137, you're either stepping on something or you're taking something off something. You have a totally different take on that. What is it?
I did. So basically, when I was playing and I was caddying, and Michael and I had this talk, if you're not dialed in and you don't have a perfect fit for a number, let's just say that you hit an 8-iron 157 yards. Well, if you've got 160, and you hit it 157, you still only have 9 feet. If you hit something that's not a perfect number, I mean, why change your speed versus just hitting the shot and taking it? I mean, the PGA Tour leader in proximity to the hole from every shot, I believe, is like 29 feet. Based on certain numbers, though, the closer you get, the more accurate they get.
Right.
But as I think I told you earlier, Michael Bradley was not a strong wedge player back, late 90s, early 2000s. Great iron player. So a little bit of a tidbit of how great a ball striker he was. When he won Doral in the windstorm, he shot 10 under. I believe Stuart Sink finished at 9 under, and Tiger Woods and Billy Mayfair finished at 8 under. Maybe Tiger was 8 under, and Billy Mayfair and Sink were at 9 under. Well, Michael finished dead last in that week in putting and won on the PGA Tour because he hit 63 out of 72 greens in a windstorm.
Holy smokes. I mean, that almost never happens. Usually,
Never.
whoever wins a PGA Tour event, at the very least, they're no higher than 7th or 8th on putting. And usually they're number
Correct.
one.
And I could be, I mean, when I say dead last, he was 69 out of 75 guys. That's where he ranked that week, and I'll never forget it. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be there all 4 times he won, and I was on the bag for 2 of them, but hung out with him the other 2 times. I just happened to be there. The first time was Callaway Gardens. I missed the cut at the Hoosier Store event and went down there. And then at Doral, I was with him. His wife had a wedding that she had to go to. She says, "Can you stay with Michael?" And he's such a creature of habit that when he won, he gave every money he had. And we went to the McDonald's at 10:30 next door to Doral, right next to the Univision, and just got 2 cheeseburgers like he always would get.
Oh, man.
And I had to pay because he didn't have any money on him. So,
well, that's like a Tiger story. Like Tiger's
was the
notorious
best.
for not having any cash on him. It's just,
he gave us. I'd much rather have him give the money to the locker room attendant. I mean, I asked him, I said, "Can I get you some drink?" I mean, all they had down there was Heineken and Stella. And he looks at me and he goes, "I just want a Coors Light." So here I am. I have to run up to the hotel bar that's outside on the patio. It was like $10 back in 1998 for a Coors Light. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, it's Miami. What do you expect, man?
Unbelievable. Resort. I was like, I hope that includes tip. That's what I asked him. Surcharge. But
holy smokes.
It was great. Best $10 I ever spent for a beer in my life.
Of course. Noah Zelnik is our guest here on Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by the Golf Real Estate Pros of Gene Walsh, Vince Fizicaro, and Samantha Walsh, SuncoastDreams.com, the division of fine properties in the greater Sarasota area. If you're looking to live at a place like Lakewood National Golf Club, where this podcast originates from, nobody better than Gene, Vince, and Samantha. Party Golf Drinks, new product on board, Birdie Juice. It's a combination of our Transfusion and Mulligan, lemonade and vodka. Get ahead of the birdie game. Don't take that personal flask out on the golf course and steal revenue from golf courses. And if all that golf has got you tuckered out, Violet Spa in downtown Sarasota has got you covered. No, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. If you had one tip to give that could help anybody, good player or just an average player, what would it be?
I would just say get it on the green. As we learned on the PGA Tour, long is always a problem. Short is usually safer. So you don't always have to hit the full club to get it there. Kind of figure out what the front yardage is and play it from there, because it's a lot easier to hit an 8-iron than it is a 6-iron. So I would just say carry all your trouble, get it on the green, and get the putter in your hand as soon as possible. Because most golfers struggle chipping, hitting that in-between shot. Most golfers don't practice enough to hit a 30-yard shot.
Yeah.
So don't try to force it. Just get it up around the green and then try to use your putter as much as you can.
Yeah, especially in Florida. Bermuda grass is tough to chip and pitch off of. And there's a reason why golf is harder, and a lot of it has to do with the grass and also with the wind. Noah, always enjoy catching up with you. I wish you nothing but the best with the new relaunch of Moccasin Wallow with the new sprinkler system. And I hope this fall's a lot better than last fall. I don't want to relive that and all the hurricane stuff. That was
I checked. I have 9 weather apps on my phone, and I check them every day.
Is it looking good as a long range? There's nothing lining up in the South Atlantic. It's charting over.
I don't even look at it. The problem is that I'm not I don't know much about global warming. I don't follow it. The only thing I do is follow Gulf temperatures. And the warmer the Gulf waters are, the scarier it gets, because we can have a thunderstorm turn into a hurricane in 36 hours like last year. I'm way more nervous about anything that builds up around the Yucatan Peninsula than I am something around Puerto Rico.
Well, we saw that with Milton. It came straight across the Gulf sideways instead of like the up and like hugging the coastline.
Correct. I got hit by 2 hurricanes in 13 days. The damage is, we're still working on trying to get some stump removed, but we had about 18, 20 feet of erosion over on number 9. And, we're I'm not going to say the fairway went out, but almost the tee box is almost collapsing. In the back, they're putting up a retaining wall around the houses because people are losing their backyards and almost losing pools.
Oh, God. Well, hopefully, we get a break from it. We're due for it. I mean, 4 hurricanes last fall. I can go another 4 years without any one of those. No, always good to see you. And keep
Appreciate
in touch.
it.
All right, buddy. And good health to you. I'm glad that you're on the mend.
Thank you.
And take good care of yourself, all right?
I'm on the mends and the meds now, so it's a lot of fun.
Listen to the doctor. All right.
Absolutely.
Big thanks once again to Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, try a Party. Golf Real Estate Pros, Gene Walsh, Vince Vizzacaro, and Samantha Walsh, SuncoastDreams.com, and BioLit Spa in downtown Sarasota. For Noah Zelnick, I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you again next time on Party Time, My Golf Story.
Thank you, guys.
You've been listening to It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers, and the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Vizzacaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at SuncoastDreams.com or call 941-220-4000.